Hey guys, it's Sarah from the Support Worker Store. Today I've got Tara. Tara, it's good to have you on board,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to tell everyone your story. Can you tell us a story about how Me Plus More began?
Yeah. So Me Plus More. Me Plus More began, the idea came, I reckon, 6 years ago. I'm sitting running a service, a disability service, same thing every day, day in, day out, putting out fires. And I'm sending out my lovely support workers, and things just weren't really changing for the people we were supporting. And I was like, what's going on here? What are we missing? There's a gap. There's something missing here. So everyone would say, oh, it's the support workers. They're terrible. They don't know what they're doing. And I'm like, well, no. I'm actually going to say it's me. I'm in charge here. Something is missing. And what I found was missing: zero tools and resources for the individual we're supporting, along with their supports, to get good things happening in the time that they're together. And so I've always worked with people with intellectual disability, and that's where the idea of Me Plus More came from, to create an accessible online platform for people with intellectual disability to guide their supports to get some good things happening in the time that they're together. So that's where the idea came from, because, I'm sitting in my office, putting out fires. I didn't have the time to create the stuff, create that information for both the support staff and those that we were providing support for. And then one day I just came home and I said to my husband, this is it. I'm quitting. And this is what I'm doing. I'm creating accessible resources for people, getting a platform happening. I'm not techie, never been techie before in my life, but I am developing a platform. I'm creating all the resources in easy to understand English, and having it accessible. So I think that's the story. Yeah.
So was it few things that happened that got to that point, or was it just one day like, nah, stuff this, I'm out?
It was just constant, I think. It was just the constant. And all I wanted to do was create those resources. I'm creative. I love doing that sort of stuff. So when I had the time, I'd be creating stuff in easy read English, making sure it's accessible, training individuals. And I think it was just the constant that I just never had time to do it. And like I said, because you're always,
You know what I
yes.
found wild when I talk to people, when it comes to creating resources for the people that we serve, that it can be done. Like you don't have to wait for somebody to do it for you. You can create it. But I believe, like, in your situation, when you're managing a large team, it's so difficult to get to the nitty gritty stuff because you are putting out fires, and the fires look completely different every day, and you can never see it
And
coming. Because were
important.
you groups?
Yeah. And you have to.
Were you were you in group support?
So I ran a service that had support coordination, to one support, day programs, accommodation, the whole shebang
So
at that point.
when you decided to when you decided to have Me Plus More, what was the first problem you really wanted to solve?
It was that gap that I mentioned. It's the gap that individuals don't have access to resources accessibly, I guess is the way to say it. There are easy read resources out there. Don't get me wrong, there's loads of great stuff out there, but it might take you 20 clicks to get to it. So, 20 clicks, 20 minutes trying to figure out what to do. How do you get to it? How do I find it? That's not accessible. So, yeah, you might have easy read stuff there, but it's not accessible for that individual. So yeah, that's pretty much what it was about, is making it accessible.
What was the first item that you created that was accessible?
So created the platform. That was number one, was creating the platform itself.
And that was easy to do.
Gosh, yeah.
Anyone can do
Because
that, right?
I insisted that there's a button on there that translates the whole website into easy read English. So you've got the website and then you could translate it if you wanted to. So that was the first thing, was getting that up and running. And that was no easy feat, especially with the little bits and pieces that I insisted had to be on there. And then from that piece was creating accessible content all around independent living skills. So that was the beginning of it. Really, anything you or I take for granted, I want to get on there. So our first topic started with things like how to keep a schedule, how to access the internet safely, how to choose your supports, hygiene, how to have a pet, consent, sexual harassment awareness, all those sort of real mixed bag of important things for the individual so they can guide their support. So their support workers aren't coming in and saying, let's do this. It's about the individual guiding them and having all those resources. So that was the first, I guess you could call it program as such. We like to call it a stream. So yeah.
So When you created the first lot of resources, did you follow a guide? Like, how did you pick what resources to put out when?
Well, first off, because we're online safety was number one. So, how to be safe online. If I'm saying to people, jump on Facebook and look at stuff, join our community group on Facebook, but not giving those resources and how to stay safe on Facebook. So it was the number one topic is digital accessibility, how to stay safe online. So talking a lot about safety online, then also touching on Facebook and Instagram, as they're the platforms that we use mostly at Me Plus More, especially Facebook, because we have a private community group just for our members so they can connect. So that was pretty much where it was decided. And then I've always had people with lived experience assist as well, because I've got the experience to create. I don't have that lived experience. So having individuals with intellectual disability assisting and working for Me Plus More, assisting creating the content, checking it over, and then choosing topics. What's important?
So you've now been running your business for almost, I think, 5 years.
Yes.
Has the
Yes.
mission changed or grown since your first idea evolved?
Yeah, so have to adapt, of course. So initially the idea was it's just a platform just for people with intellectual disability. It's theirs. They sign up, they have their profile pictures, it's gamified, they get points, they get to the top of the leaderboard. So it was, and it still is, it's for the individual. However, what we've found as time has gone on is service providers, support workers want to jump on and have access to those resources as well. So yes, I'm very much about that person, but some programs that have groups are utilizing it. So now a service provider can sign up, have access to the tools and resources and do it in the group. So there's loads of discussion, working through the resources, watching the videos, all that sort of stuff. So that has changed. That now we are able to offer it, which is really, really exciting. And then also workshops. So getting out there and doing face-to-face workshops and also online workshops.
I can see that you love them.
The workshops are
You
my
love
favorite.
you love it, don't you?
I can't tell you how much I love the workshop.
You know, the funny thing is that in the past, you and I have joked, I'm like, man, if we had worked in service together, we would have had a lot of fun. So if you ever come to Melbourne, you know where to find me.
I'm reaching out. Don't you worry about that.
It's a skill set that I never ever want to lose. And it sounds wild, yeah, but how to communicate with a variety of different people and how to display a message out there that can be taken in and, digested. I started my career in groups and it has this massive soft spot for me because that's where I was able to get my skill sets from today. I'm off
Facilitating
track.
workshops. That's my favorite thing. Getting out there, getting in a workshop, everyone talking, agreeing to disagree. It's fantastic.
Debating, even talking about curly topics and watching somebody unpack a topic and really think about what strategy and sometimes you're like, oh, I didn't see that as one of your core values.
Yeah.
Like it really does open your
It does.
eyes
It's
up
good.
to,
Yeah. It's really good.
how people tick in a way.
Yeah.
So your program supports people to grow skills and independence. What does independence really mean to you and the people that we serve?
So for me, it's all about empowering a person. It's about empowerment to live confidently. I'm saying independently, that word, and giving them the resources to do so. So it's all about empowerment so that individual can live confidently, connect with their peers and feel supported and not dependent on others, I think is the big one.
When I hear the word independent, I have to check on myself consistently because the word independent looks so different to each person that we
Yes.
serve
Yes.
because their independent might be something that could be what we would consider so small, but is actually quite a big achievement for them.
And I
Have you
constantly hear
been
that. I do. I constantly hear, even sometimes just, I don't know, being able to schedule an appointment. That's independence to someone. And
Yep.
it's fantastic. And the excitement, there was one of our members posted in our private community group about how she made an appointment and she had this whole excitement. She was so proud and felt so empowered. So that's independence for her. She's never been able to make an appointment.
It's wild because we take that for granted. But I think the coolest thing about your program is you actually get to see it in real time
Yeah,
and then be a part of
yeah,
that.
it's fun.
And independence, wherever possible, should be celebrated
Yes.
because that is a milestone
Yeah,
in itself.
definitely. Because it is real time and everyone shares their wins. And that's what it's about, is sharing your wins with a group of people, which is really lovely. And I heard leaderboard in there. I think we got cut up for a second.
Yeah. Was there a moment as you're, doing the platform, a participant or a family confirmed, yes, this is exactly what I needed to do, and this is working for me? Like, have you got a story? I love hearing them because I'm a romantic at
Yeah.
heart, and any time that I could hear somebody that we serve
I
win,
often have
I'm all
people that
for it.
just
Go for it, Tara.
people just find us online, which I absolutely love. There's one woman in particular. She has her parents are absolutely fantastic, family's fantastic, but she hangs out with them all the time. That's it. And they found us online, and learning all these independent living skills has actually opened her mind of what's possible for her. In her mind, she's going to be living with her parents forever, holidaying with her parents. And like I said, lovely people, fantastic, but she never really thought about what was possible. She did our independent living skills, then moved on to our women in the workplace, which is all about empowering women in workforce participation. And she does all our workshops, and it's just as a whole. And to see her come out and the way she's changed and how confident she is, which is really exciting. And I love it when we're just found online by mum, mum who's been Googling away. It's fab.
That's a good story. I like that. That's yeah.
Like,
So I am
again,
a
like what we
romantic
say
at
about
heart.
empowerment and independence, it's not huge, but for her, it's huge. Just having that thought change is so big for her because she just
It's
never
like
thought
it's like the
that's what possible.
penny dropped. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I love like about your story, Tara, is that before you got to your business, you're a support worker at heart. And we have a lot of support workers that listen to the podcast. Hi guys. What do you think makes a really fan flippantastic support worker from your perspective?
Well, of course, I'm a bit biased. I'm all about having access to easy read resources and bits and little bits and bobs and fun things that you can do together to get to that goal. That's what it's really about. I mean, Be Possible was built on the foundation that everyone has a right to reach their goals and have the appropriate tools to do so. So I'm all about the tools and having those tools. And I just think, as a support worker, if I had all these resources at hand, I think it would have been fantastic, because it's not about sitting at home learning. Sometimes you want to go out to the cafe, you want to go wherever you want to go, sit in the park, go to the library, go to the beach, whatever it is. I mean, having those resources accessible, you can learn about how to keep a schedule while you're lying on the beach. It's fantastic. But if you don't have those resources on hand, then you can't really do that. Yeah.
So, for support workers to access the platform, is there a particular way that they could get into the platform? Like, is it an individual? Is it by provider? If I was an independent, would I be able to access your platform to learn more?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. So I'm very easy to access as well. We've got the chat on the website, the phone, email, every way you can imagine. Text, you can get hold of us, email. I said email, I think already. It's just about getting in touch. And you know what? Again, at heart, I love it when the individual signs up. I love it when it's theirs, when it's their profile. And what a great way for a support worker and an individual to work together, and having that individual own it, and that it's not brought in and let's do this. I think it's a really nice thing when the individual owns it, the individual signs up with that support is lovely. But then on the flip side, we've also got access for support workers as well, if that's more appropriate for the way they're working. So definitely have a conversation.
I love that. Your team delivers programs all across Australia because you're
Yeah.
online. There are skills, there's health, there's community. Which program is the closest to your heart and why?
Oh, that's a really tough one. Okay. Well, independent living skills was my baby to start with. That's what we started with. But then we moved over to employment skills as well. And now we just launched a program, a stream on digital safety, which I think digital safety right now is the one that's closest to my heart, because I'm hearing so much about the scams and all that sort of stuff. So right now, that's the one that I'm absolutely loving, and I'm loving giving the workshops. The other one that doing a lot at the moment is self-advocacy. and supported decision making. Those ones are really close to my heart as well. Loving those.
I got a confession.
Mm.
I am knees deep into watching your content about being online and safety
Yes.
online because I, like you, have with people in the past that have been scammed, and it seems to be very targeted towards certain individuals. So, like wherever possible, you do have this opportunity, which I love about your platform. Somebody,
Yeah. Yeah. Especially at the moment for our digital safety, it is covered through a Commonwealth grant, which is really exciting. So that one is free for individuals. So we launched that a few weeks ago. So that one, yeah, all about scams, how to stay safe online and social media safety.
I watched it. Loved it. Thank you. It's a geek. um, running a disability business is no joke. What has been the biggest challenge you have found as a founder?
My biggest challenge is probably that getting out there, salesy, getting it all out part, just telling the world
It's
that it
hard. I
exists.
get it. Yeah.
And we've been really lucky at Me Plus More. We've had some Commonwealth grants, so we've been able to offer programs free. And I think the hardest part is getting it out. We're not asking for anything. We're just offering all the content. So I'm finding, just getting it out there is difficult. It's really difficult to get the message across, and all these things that we've spoken about tonight, getting that across is hard. It's a new
It's a
world.
different type of thinking. It is a different world because we're both from service. Have you
Mhm.
got, meal plan, medical plan? Have I got a schedule that is going to work?
Yeah.
Have I got things in play? And then you've got to turn up online and sell. It's
Yes.
difficult, and it's not always an easy sell because you're explaining, for me, I'm consistently explaining my business and what I do, and no, I'm not an online scam.
Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
Free.
Getting out is a whole new beast. When it's a new when you've started and you're a small business, it's all new.
And you're competing with bigger ones too. And what they do is completely different. Like I get that we all have a spot, but the hustle is real.
Yeah. I often say it's time to hustle this month or just something. There's always something
I
going
don't
on.
want to don't have to hustle anymore. I've hustled enough.
The non-stop hustle. That's small business, and that's small business, and that's the roller coaster. It's up and down, and it's the way it is. But I think that's been the biggest challenge because it's a new skill to learn. So, yeah.
100%. But there's also a flip side to this because there has been for you and most businesses, there's that big holy crap, we just did that moment. Can you give me a time where you got, ha ha, holy crap, I've done it. I have
Yeah.
made it now.
It was, oh gosh, it must be two and a half years ago now. We received a grant from the Office for Women. So that was like, yes, that was the time where it was like, you know what? The Commonwealth government is thinking about women with intellectual disability. So we received funding to create a stream of learning just for women with intellectual disability, all around workforce participation, women's safety, and women's economic security. And again, I'll say it again, just for women with intellectual disability. And that's what it was. And that was the yes moment, because
Did you have to apply for that, or was that
yeah,
something that came natural from word of mouth?
that's an application and a half, definitely.
So you have a really strong education background. How has your educational background helped you shape and deliver programs for the people that we serve?
Well, when we talk about educational background, I've got a master's in international public health. So public health is probably the core of everything that we're doing as well. Like, there's just so much that's not accessible for individuals, and I think a lot about women and health and all of that information that is really difficult to understand as a woman. And then imagine a woman with an intellectual disability where the information isn't accessible for her. So that's what drives a lot of the content, is knowing a lot around public health. And yeah, that's where the education part comes in. Very different uni to, creating Easy Read, and it's a whole different world. And I really had to change my mindset on that one.
So your company supports people with disabilities to use clear, easy language. How easy is easy English, and why is it so important that it's accessible?
So Easy Read is all about accessibility, really. It's all about giving opportunity to people to be able to read any large document like you or I can read. It's about having those short sentences with the images that match so things make sense, and just to make it all kind of come together in a nice little package, I guess. Sometimes if there's big reports out there, sometimes I have a look at the easy read and skim through that. And that's, you can get some fantastic information. And like I mentioned, that stuff is out there. It's just a matter of finding it. That takes me 20 minutes to find. So then I think about people who aren't tech savvy as such, and being able to find that information is really difficult. So accessibility, easy read, I think it all should come together and, to make it accessible for the individual.
Do you know what's wild?
Mm.
So I run a newsletter for support workers and one of the newsletter parts of the support worker newsletter is that I actually put it all in easy English.
Love it.
And the reason why is because our capacity to pay attention and take information and use that information for the greater good sometimes gets lost. I will admit that sometimes I put my stuff into easy English so I can understand it because a lot of reports, like especially when it comes to
That's
medical
why I
things,
mentioned
when
that.
I
Yeah. Reports. Yeah.
it's really hard. Like I'm no scholar, but far out Brussels sprout. This is so difficult. Something that could be so simply said.
Have some fresh water.
So a lot of founders, we do carry our work with us because we take it quite personally. What part of your personal story shows up in your business the most?
That's a good question. I think it's my belief system that independence isn't just a goal. It's a right, and everyone should have the opportunity to be confident, feel connected, and have a say in their life. I think that's my belief system. I don't treat anyone with a disability any different than I would treat a person without a disability, and I think that's just the way it should be. It's the individual's right to. For me, I always bang on about having accessible resources. So for me, my true belief is that everyone is entitled to have access to resources that will help them be better in their life, or increase their workforce participation, or even training. I mean, a little story on that. I've got a lovely lady who works at a massive company in Sydney, and she's been there for 20 years. She has an intellectual disability. She's been there for 20 years. Absolutely loves her job. She's never had training. Her boss found us 2 years ago and said to me that she's never had any training because HR said she doesn't need training. Everybody's moving up around her. Everyone's getting trained. Everyone's moving up, but she's not moving. Not once had she had training in 20 years. And he's a fantastic boss. He found us to find her training. So what we offer is online training in the workplace. You or I get told, jump online and do this training. That's not accessible for someone with an intellectual disability. They don't have that opportunity because it may not be accessible for them. What she has is access to workplace training, which is awesome. And I'll bang on about how amazing he is as a boss. She does our online workshops as well. So, she's currently doing digital safety, which is fantastic. So, and it's just about having that accessibility. So that, like I said, it's just built into how I feel. He looked for the support. HR didn't.
Yeah.
Not support, sorry, training. He looked for workplace training. So it comes back down to that person. So I assume he has the same belief system as me because he went out of his way to find training.
You said something interesting before about your core beliefs about independence it is a human right. Is there anything besides your time at university? Was this a core belief that you've had as a child moving to now? Like because this core belief isn't something that
Yeah.
just
No, it's just always
it
been in
doesn't pop
me.
up.
Yeah, I think it's just always been in me. I mean, I came out of uni and I've always worked with people with intellectual disability. That's just, I guess, been my calling. Never really moved away from that because that's just where I guess my heart lives. So when the idea of Me Plus More came up, that was it for me. Like it was not going to fail. I was dead set it was not going to fail. And I remember getting the worst advice I'd ever gotten from someone when I told them that I was taking my side hustle and going all in, and that was it. And she said to me, well, if it fails in a year, just give up. If it doesn't do well, just give up. Doesn't matter. Just go get a proper job. And I was like, wow. That
So was that
I think drove me that this is going to work. And 5 years down the track, here I am, that it's still going strong.
Do you feel like it's gasoline to fire? For me, like I'll sounds terrible, but if you insult me, I feel like, right, you're holding the gasoline. I'm about to burn further.
Can still picture her face, the way she said it, the tone, everything, the whole,
Right. Yeah.
and in my mind, if someone came to me with an idea, whether I thought it was fabulous or not, I'm not the one to judge. I would be supportive. So I think, yes, probably the worst advice I ever got in my life was probably the best conversation.
I'm glad you never took her advice. Yep. I'm so glad you didn't take that advice.
No.
All right. So with your company and how you run, a lot of people would look at you, Tara, and think, God, she's an advocate. Do you ever get that sense that you're advocating, or is it just something that you're like, oh, well, no, that's what we should all naturally do?
I think it's natural. Yeah. It's just the way life is, I think.
Is there anything in the NDIS space that you wish more providers would do?
I'm always going to go back to accessibility. I'm always back to having those accessible resources. They're there, whether you use it from Me Plus More or not. Just get them happening. And like I said, they're out there. There's some great stuff out there. You just have to look for it. Obviously, we've created a place where you don't have to look for it. It's all there. But having those accessible resources for me is a no-brainer. And it's a no-brainer for both the individuals you're supporting and the support staff. It's really hard to teach people things when you don't have any little pointers to follow. One main thing in the workbooks that we created is having cheat sheets and info pages. And I often say these are great pointers. So we have, just as an example, we've got a topic on consent. Consent's a tough topic to talk about, and everyone needs to be talking about it. It needs to be top. It needs to be spoken about often. But what do you say when you've never really, when you don't know what to say? It's a hard topic to talk about. So we have info pages, cheat sheets, and every point will assist a support person to chat about the topic. And, it's giving those little pointers. So for me, like I say, it's a no-brainer to have those resources for both. It's not just for the person. It's not just for the supports. It's for them to work together.
Do you know I remember, so back many, many moons ago, Tara, I was supporting a group of people to talk about consent. And one of the things that I got from the lady presenting to the group about consent was that the way that we talk about it, it's okay to talk about it like adults, that we don't need to bring the content down any further, because if we're doing that, we're at risk of not giving the full information to somebody.
So our videos, our workbooks, they have the words, they have everything that you or I would talk about with consent. Yeah.
Yep.
Totally.
And it's interesting when you're in a group and hearing what consent looks like for different people and the levels and where they have been supported to be educated to a certain point.
Yeah. And look, we start with consent of borrowing a pen, and then it goes all the way to sexual consent. So you go from, the beginning to the end. And then you talk about everything in the middle.
Even body parts. I remember sitting there going, what do you mean you don't know about a certain body part? Like,
yeah. No, we say all the body parts.
It shouldn't be frowned upon to learn this stuff. It should be something that's really acceptable for all, because if we don't know your body parts, how can you explain to something when something hurts or something doesn't feel right?
Something's wrong. Yeah, exactly.
If you could give any advice to any new support workers entering this sector tomorrow, what would you say when it comes to entering the NDIS sector?
It's having those resources and having the tools to work with whoever it is you're working with, and going in a bit prepared with those tools and resources. And whether you're bringing them in or offering them as a side, whatever it is, it's knowing that those resources exist. For me, like I mentioned, if I had them when I was a support worker, I was, oh gosh, how old was I? 19?
We don't talk about age here, Tara.
Okay, yeah, but that's just when I started. I'm not telling you the age now. So I was 19, I believe, when I got my first support worker role. And I tell you, if I had resources and tools and wasn't just said, off you go, with my little piece of paper that had the profile of the individual, could have, in that instance, there's so much more I could have done. in those initial years. I learned along the way. But, just having them at the beginning as a new support worker would be fantastic because it gives you those ideas. So when I think about those days, that would have been fantastic for me to have as a support worker. I think would have been really beneficial.
So, as a support worker, nothing's stopping you to create a toolbox for activities, whether you're independent, agency,
Correct.
provider.
But then, you might not think about it. It's knowing that those tools are out there. So you can pull those tools from lots of different places and have that toolbox you're talking about, definitely. But it's I don't know if it's something that's spoken about, to be honest.
And it should be.
I think that's actually a really cool thing is what great advice if you want to, when you're starting out as a support worker, to find those resources and spend the time. I had no idea that the resources online existed when I first started, whether they did or didn't when I was 19, I don't know. Right now, they exist.
And they're accessible to enter to your website and pull them out. And even your online content, like I fangirl your Instagram really hard.
Yes,
Apologies.
I know you share stuff. I'm
Love
very
it.
appreciative.
I do, because it's good. You know, when content's really good and you're like, well, I can't create that. I'm just going to share that because I haven't got the time or the resources right now to create
So we
this
send
beautiful
out the
thing
little
that you've
nibbles,
put together.
the little bits and bobs, the important stuff that people need to be aware of. We post that, and that's the free stuff. I mean, again, we've got our digital safety program that is funded through a Commonwealth grant, so totally free, and that's 3 topics worth of information. And there it is on a silver platter. I called it a digital platter. I liked that. Giving to you on a digital platter.
And you can get this on, it can be watched on your phone, on TV, on a laptop.
Yeah, mainly a bigger screen, not so great on a small screen. So I'd skip a phone, but most definitely laptop, tablet, computer, or no, I said computer, TV, those sort of devices, definitely.
So it's nothing really stopping anyone that runs a group program, a SEAL program, to touch base and have an activity for the day or night about certain topics because it's
Correct.
free.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the digital safety, digital platter. Hand it over.
You know, you really created products that I wish I had and that were accessible, because I'm back in my heydays, you know, with Google, you'd only get so much and then you're chopping and changing it, putting it on a Word document
I remember that.
without, and you're trying to deliver. It's awesome that you have been able to create something like this. Are you just naturally creative?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I do like getting out my paints and doing a bit of a paint. So yeah, I think so.
I don't mind getting out my Canva.
Oh, yes, I do love Canva as well. I must say I do. But I do love the physical paint as well.
Now, every now and again, Tara, I have families and participants that listen and watch the podcast. What do you want them to know about the work that you do at Me Plus More does?
So we're like we've spoken about, it's kind of changed a little bit and there's extras, and the main thing is our online platform and that it's accessible for individuals, for the individual themselves. What I absolutely love is that a lot of our members access it on their own. They do it all on their own and they contact me for tech support or contact me if they don't know what's going on. So it's gamified, the best part. So you've got pop-ups, you've got badges, you've got confetti coming down, you've got the monthly leaderboard, monthly challenges. You do the challenges to get on the leaderboard. So it's interactive and it's a way that, it's healthy competition. That's good as well. And it's a way to make learning these skills enjoyable and interactive with all the videos, and then plus the hard copy of all the workbooks. And again, one of my favorite parts is the workshops. So getting into services and doing workshops. I'm heading home to the Blue Mountains next week, actually, to do a workshop on self-advocacy with Down Syndrome New South Wales. So that's super exciting. And I'm also in Sydney going into a supported employment and doing a workshop there. So, it's getting into those services, and not many people know that we do that as well, that we do organise workshops. Which is really...
So you can book a workshop online for you, but also what we haven't mentioned on your platform, and I remember many moons ago when you and I first started dancing, you can access the platform straight away without a payment of 14 days, because I remember you and I talking about how...
Yes. So It's a free trial. So there's a free 5-day free trial, 5 days, not 14, but close. A 5-day free trial. We do not ask for credit card details. We don't ask for anything because it's not about locking anyone in. Obviously, it's purely a free trial. So you get instant access. You can download the workbook. You can watch the first video of digital accessibility. So learning how to stay safe online. You do a taste tester. You see all the gamification, the badges. You'll get a badge pop up straight away. You'll see all that sort of stuff as well. So yeah, and like I said, it's all about allowing someone to have a look with instant access, so then they can make an informed decision. So I could say sign up to someone, and it doesn't mean that it's for them. It's okay. So they can give it a try.
So the cool thing is that you can use your NDIS plan, or you don't have to use your NDIS plan to be on this platform. You
Yes,
can
that's
do
right.
both, and you can. You don't have to not use it because there's not enough in your NDIS plan. You can use it like everybody else as it is a form of training.
Yeah, and we have kept it as affordable as we can. And you can even make decisions. You can access it all online and that's it. Or you can have the workbook sent out in the post. So you can decide how you would like to utilize the content.
So you have got a lot going on you've had a lot happen in the last 5 years. If
Yes.
you're looking towards the future for Me Plus More, what does the future hold for you guys? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh gosh, that's a big question. I have so many ideas rolling around in my head, which I won't share because then too many people will know my ideas. I've got a full list of different streams of learning, different ideas, different aspects of people's lives that they might want to work towards, and then they can really pick and choose where they want to go. So, for example, we've got the stream on independent living skills, we've got one on employment skills, we've got one on digital accessibility. There's so much more out there that could be more specific. It could be health, it could be living your physical, just living independently skills. And there's so much. So there's that, and then a whole range of ideas and workshops and all those bits and pieces.
You know I'm nosy, right?
Yes.
Are you going to enter some more stuff into the SEAL space? That seems to be the hot topic at the moment.
So much for Me Plus More. We're kind of everywhere, not specific on certain spaces. I like to keep it very open, to be honest. I absolutely love Me Plus More in an employment setting because like I mentioned before, you or I get training, jump online, just do your training. Full stop. Just go and do it. I love that supported employees can have that opportunity, that they can just jump online and do their training. That is my most favorite. So I'm a bit biased with that one. Yeah.
But you also have to do a lot of networking. Like, it's not something that comes like easy, like we were just talking before, but you have to network with a lot of different providers. If a provider is watching this, is the easiest way to slide into a LinkedIn, email, or a phone call?
Any
What's the
of
best way
them.
to get
I
to
am
contact?
so online based. Any form of online communication. Instagram DMs, Facebook DMs, LinkedIn DMs. Again, the emails. I love a phone call, to be honest. The other day I was emailing people. Well, I was going to email. I went, you know what? I can't be bothered. I'm just going to call. So I do love.
But, sometimes it's easier just to call.
Yeah, I
It really
sat
is.
there and I was like, what the hell, to articulate what I wanted to say. And I was like, no, I can just say it easier if I just call. And I think I called 10 people just because I couldn't be bothered with the email. So yeah, anyway, there's the chat box on the website as well. There's, any way to get in touch.
So oh my God, Tara, I haven't even asked you this.
Mm.
How many people have you employed? Like, is it just you? Is there another person in the wings?
It's a bit different at Me Plus More because we don't provide that one-on-one support. So we're a team of got a graphic designer, content creator, web development, that sort of stuff. So it's a bit different to your usual provider with support staff and all these different roles. We're more around the creative side of it, getting the content done. And like I mentioned, we have a graphic designer that does the content. We've also got people with lived experience that work for us to assist in developing the content to make sure it actually is easy read. So yeah, it's quite a mixed bag of a team.
And it's like, see, you're bringing up a lot of debates with me tonight. You actually, in this sector, you don't have to have a big team to prove that you can deliver. You can have a lean but mean one that is able to deliver.
Yeah.
You found that?
Definitely. That's what I love as well. Like I've mentioned earlier, small business, and that's where I want to stay. It's a small business. It's, the team that we've got is fantastic. And yeah, I just love how it all works at the moment.
Like every small business, Tara, we have some challenging days.
Yes.
What's your why and what keeps bringing you back to your small business? If you could give some, I don't know, some words of advice for people out there listening to the podcast tonight or today, I should say.
I guess my why just goes back to my beliefs, back to that my why is that I really believe that independence is a right for the people we're supporting. So that's really my why. Always go back to that. And I think when you've got something that you really believe in, then that's going to work. And you put the effort in, and it's a hard slog. It's a lot of effort. I won't say it's easy. And it's
Nothing good comes easy.
no, no. So I guess, yeah, so my advice is, you find something that you really believe in,
Is there anything tonight that I haven't shared about your business and where is it's going that you'd love to tell the audience?
I guess what I'm really, really looking to get out and tell everyone about is our digital safety program. I know I've mentioned it, but I'm so excited to get it out because it is free, it's accessible, it's there for you. And yeah, it's just about getting that. But I think you've covered everything, to be honest. I think I've told you everything, the ins and outs of what we're doing. So I'll just do my cheap plug at the end. A well-funded
Can you
program,
give
super
me the
exciting.
links?
Sorry?
Would you be able to give me the links to everything so then when I upload this, everyone at the moment can be able to, once they listen to this, be able to see and can just press the link
Yeah,
and hyperlink right into
definitely.
it?
Definitely. And if you're interested in the digital safety stream, we've got an expression of interest. You pop your name on there. I'll get in touch within a few days, usually within a day, because I love checking that list. So to be honest, I'm quite quick with that one.
Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's such a pleasure to have you. You have been in my pipeline on my radar for some time, Tara, to be honest with you, because I really love what you do. And I love
Thanks.
how authentic it is and how it's down pat, how independence is so important for the people that we serve, but also the opportunity to learn at a pace that is respectable for that person.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Keep up the good work. Keep up the
Thank
good
you.
work. Thank you so much, Tara.